What's up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Alright, today's video, we're going to be talking about Black Panther #8 by John Ridley and Stefano Landini. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down the importance of the people of Wakanda rising up against the Tchalla to end Wakanda's secret police rule. We're also going to be talking about why we shouldn't be surprised by Achilles' response to losing to T'Challa in one-on-one combat, and more importantly, why T'Challa, despite saving Wakanda, has lost everything.
You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Okay, so one of the things I really liked about this issue is that this really digs into the grassroots element of the people of Wakanda. The people of Wakanda are coming together and fighting back. Now, these aren't warriors. Now, yes, there are Dora Milaje present. There are the people from Tosin's tribe present. Yes, Shuri, Omalola, all of them are present. But also, the people of Wakanda are standing up as well to fight back against the Tchalla. This is a huge deal because, for by and large, while yes, the people of Wakanda have fought back against, anyone trying to attempt to overthrow T'Challa or try some other form of insurrection, by and large, it's typically the Tchalla who are the ones who are protecting them. But now, the secret police of Wakanda are the enemy, the people that were put in place by T'Challa's adopted brother, Hunter, aka the White Wolf. The Tchalla, this secret police force that, for the most part, has pretty much a lot of the same equipment at their disposal as T'Challa, albeit there's some very glaring omissions. They don't have any of the heart-shaped herb or anything of that nature at their disposal, but they do have a lot of Wakandan tech that they employ. So this is a huge deal because this is basically the people of Wakanda not only speaking truth to power, but throwing hands at power. Right now, Wakanda is pretty much a military state. The Tchalla are ruling with an iron fist. This should not work. And one of the things I do kind of feel that's both important to note about this and is also kind of scary at the same time is that a lot of people I know, some people will be like, oh, this is just like January 6th. It's not really the same thing. It's very different. This isn't just a bunch of angry, disenfranchised Wakandans who are upset about someone being elected into office they believe didn't actually win, but actually did win. There's no election fraud or anything of that nature. They're not believing any crazy conspiracy theories. This is a group of people who have now witnessed that their Wakanda is being taken from them and that they are going to be put under the thumb of military rule and how terrible that could potentially be, and already is. This is not the same thing, but I know how the internet works. There are going to be people out there who are going to make all kinds of crazy mental acrobatic leaps in logic to try and draw some kind of parallel. These two things are not the same. But what is very important here is not only that the people are standing up, but the fact that they're seeing who's fighting for them. They're seeing Prime Minister Folasade out there fighting alongside them and throwing hands with the Tchalla, not hiding and cowering behind Tosin or Shuri or Omalola or Imani. Any of them, the people of Wakanda see their politicians standing up for them, actually being out in the muck and the mire with them in the trenches, fighting the good fight, not just standing on the sidelines and politicking. This is very important because while I know some people will be like, well, T'Challa's the king and he does this all the time, but no, this is the thing. Folasade is a normal human. She has no special powers. She has no vibranium suit of armor. She is, by and large, as normal a Wakandan as Wakandans get. That's the thing a lot of people seem to have a misinterpretation about. When it comes to Wakanda, everybody thinks that everyone in Wakanda is just like Black Panther. You're in Wakanda, right? You got gadgets out the yin-yang. You can just do whatever you want. You probably got vibranium suit, vibranium car. You probably have vibranium claws too. You probably put panther claws in people's chests, planes and everything. No, the normal people of Wakanda who are just, the 99%, they don't have any of that stuff. Well, yeah, they do have access to some really impressive technology that would dwarf anything that we have in the real world, that is in possession of the common people. Yeah, they got that, but they don't have I can fight supervillains level tech. at their disposal at all times. That only goes to the top 1%. And while Felicity could technically be considered in that bracket, she's not exactly in that bracket. She's not Shuri. Shuri has access to that stuff, but she's Wakandan royalty. Also, she's a super genius who can make whatever she wants using vibranium and any other tech. Felicity does not have access to the heart-shaped herb. She's not superhuman. And yet, she's out here fighting the good fight alongside other superpowered or otherwise technologically empowered people, and the people of Wakanda are seeing this, and this is honestly going to change Wakanda for the foreseeable future. Not just because T'Challa has already agreed to no longer seek to be the king of Wakanda, that he is not trying to be back on the throne of Wakanda, but because now the people are finally recognizing that Wakanda's democracy is fighting for them, and they're going to want to maintain that. They're probably never going to want to go back to a monarchy. Maybe this could lead in some very different directions. We could potentially see T'Challa actually take up a place among Wakanda's democracy, because he for goddamn sure ain't gonna be anybody's king anytime soon, but we'll get to that here in just a moment. The thing that I kind of wanted to address is, and I've seen some people talk about this on Twitter, the fact that Achilles' response to losing in one-on-one combat to T'Challa seemed kind of odd considering what he was attempting to do. He attempted a military coup to take over the throne from Prime Minister Felicity, ousting T'Challa as being persona non grata in Wakanda, and marking him pretty much as a traitor. And it seemed like he was basically priming himself to take over the entire country. Then all of a sudden he gets flipped by T'Challa and thrown on his ass, and now he's killing himself. This really should be no surprise, because once again, we gotta go back to John Ridley's opening issue of his Black Panther run. These mysterious, assassins who appeared to be very intimately familiar with Wakandan tech and fighting techniques. We already know that those were the Hattusarazi, just in a different costume, so that way the Hattusarazi wouldn't be held responsible for anything that was going on outside of Wakanda. And we've known this for a while, but now with that knowledge, it makes even more sense that Achilles would kill himself rather than be captured, imprisoned, or probably what he would see worse, being actually killed by T'Challa or Omolola for the death of Jai in issue number 1. We gotta remember that these nameless, faceless assassins, all of them were willing to die just for the cause. And I'm pretty sure Achilles' death is not the last time that we're gonna see any of this. I'm pretty sure they're still out there. They're gonna come back at some point, and this makes even more sense as to why Achilles did what he did. All the other ones killed themselves. None of them felt that they were better than the mission or the cause that they championed, making Wakanda great again for whatever reason, or trying to oust T'Challa from his throne, his lofty place in Wakanda's royal hierarchy, but it makes total reasonable sense why he would have done it. Achilles has been selfless both in his service to T'Challa and his betrayal to T'Challa. But what I think is even more interesting is that when Achilles does kill himself, he refers to T'Challa as his king, which makes me wonder even more about what exactly Achilles was trying to accomplish. It seemed like he was trying to ruin T'Challa, and he was more than willing to kill him, but it also kind of seemed at the same time like maybe he didn't really want to. Like honestly, I feel like there's more to this story with Achilles than what meets the eye. I've talked about this in previous videos, that it just kind of seemed like Achilles can't be the guy who's betraying T'Challa. This has to be some kind of, 5D wizard's chess business. But at the end of the day, people are complex, both in fiction and in real life, and I'm pretty sure there are multiple layers to what Achilles was trying to accomplish. It just, I don't know if it really makes any actual sense outside of his connection to those faceless assassins. Like, him killing himself makes sense, but him accepting, acknowledging T'Challa as his king, that's another. But the real deal here is that now T'Challa is all alone. He's won his war. He has declared that the Hattusarazi will be disbanded, and now it's time for Prime Minister Felicity to begin the rebuilding process of Wakanda in the wake of this military coup. In the end, T'Challa has no one around him, and he has only himself to blame. Omolola no longer wants to have anything to do with him. She even goes as far as to say this is the last time we'll see each other, but this is comics. They will very likely see each other again sometime down the road, but Omolola, she doesn't want anything to do with him. Everything that happened between them, the creation of the sleeper agents, her falling in love with Jai being taken away from her by Achilles' assassins, and then of course T'Challa turning on her, believing that she was the one who was behind all of it, even going as far as to imprison her and make assumptions about what she felt and her reasons for why she has done everything that she's done up to this point. She feels disrespected, and she also realizes that she is one of the main people who's been lied to about everything. Folasade, she doesn't want anything to do with T'Challa because, as we saw before, she was originally trying to get him arrested, and even at some points kind of implied that she wanted him killed, but then kind of changed her mind when she realized like how far Achille was willing to go. And now she's just worried about Wakanda. She doesn't care about T'Challa, and right now I'm pretty sure she kind of wants T'Challa gone just as much as the Dora Milaje do. The Dora Milaje don't want anything to do with T'Challa. They have long since moved away from Wakanda and left the throne to thrive in the Jabari lands. They definitely don't want anything to do with Wakanda, and they had already made it very clear they are not doing this to prop T'Challa back up on the throne yet again, just for him to mess everything up. So yeah, that makes complete and total sense. And of course we see Storm. Storm definitely doesn't want anything to do with T'Challa. As she said the previous issue, we can be friends, but we will never be lovers again because of the lies that T'Challa has kept between them. The idea that he had another X-Men character, Gentle, acting as a Wakandan sleeper agent for Krakoa, spying on the mutants, and if he had Gentle spying on mutants the same way that he had Omalola and Jai and various other characters spying on other parts of the world. And while it's probably not likely that he would have made Gentle strike back against Krakoa or anything like that, the idea that he had such a lack of trust in Storm to do the right thing, to tell him things when it was necessary, which, to be fair, she has kept him in the dark about a lot of Krakoa's secrets, but they're not her secrets to tell. All that said, it kind of makes sense that Storm would feel the way she feels. She felt like T'Challa couldn't just come to her and ask her to know about these things. He had to send someone to lie and spy on not just Krakoa, but even her. Tosin is no surprise. He has not liked T'Challa since he was introduced. He's been very open and clear about the fact that he doesn't care for T'Challa on any level. At one point, even implying that he was going to jump into the middle of the fight between T'Challa and Achille, and when Shuri tries to stop him, Tosin says, "What makes you think that I'm going to go in and help T'Challa?" Implying that he was either going to A, jump into the middle of the fight and help Achille kill T'Challa and then settle up with Achille himself, or B, jump into the middle of the fight, help T'Challa kill Achille and then kill T'Challa himself, or C, take on both of them and kill them both at the same time. That's what Tosin was pretty much implying, and Tosin has zero chill when it comes to T'Challa. He lets it be known at regular intervals throughout this comic how he feels about him and has no shame in it whatsoever. Now, as for where Shuri is in this, I think Shuri has also kind of felt a little bit betrayed by T'Challa, but it's one of those deals where she's kind of been letting T'Challa know over the course of this series how she feels about him keeping secrets, keeping people at a distance. None of this is a surprise if you've been keeping up with Black Panther up to this point, so the fact that she's not around, while it may come off as a little bit surprising to me, it's at the same time not terribly surprising to me because of T'Challa's actions. He's put everybody at arm's length, and not just the people of Wakanda and the people who are closest to him, but even also the Avengers. He's got beef with Steve Rogers right now. T'Challa has made this bed and he has to lay in it, and while we do know he's going to be going back to the Avengers on a full-time basis because it's not like he has any kinging to do, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes from here. But this first arc of John Ridley's Black Panther has been pretty damn solid, and while I didn't care for the dissolution of T'Challa and Storm's relationship after being teased that it was back on track, I still like the story for the most part. It's really probably the one blemish on the story as a whole for me. I feel like that was a very unnecessary thing to do. However, to get the gut punch that T'Challa gets at the end from an emotional standpoint, it would kind of have to imply that him and Storm would have to be Splitsville. So I get why John Ridley did everything he did. It all makes sense. From a storytelling perspective, it all makes sense. It's just that I still wish that that part would not have been messed with, at least not on the level that it was messed with. But anyways, if you want to know more about how T'Challa found a planet Wakanda beyond the stars and had to deal with a whole Killmonger who possessed a venom-like symbiote, check out this playlist right here. And in the meantime, let me know what you thought about Black Panther #8. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.